Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, sir. I am blessed to be here. The good Lord woke me up and gave me at least one more day, and I am thankful that He planted my feet on the floor, got me on over to this Black Talk radio station to be with you, and
And
the
we
Lord.
are having some microphone issues, it looks
Yeah,
like.
I mean,
All right. So we're going to see what's going on with Will's microphone. But as Will said, and I would second this, that we are both definitely blessed to be here this morning. We're blessed to be here with you, and we are happy that you have chosen to wake up with us, or at least you've chosen to hang out with us for a little bit. As Will likes to say at this Black Talk radio station, and it is definitely a privilege to be here all the time. And so this morning, we have a few things that we're going to cover. As always, we have some news that we're going to be talking about, and we have
absolutely.
guests and all that good stuff.
hmm Yeah, there's a lot of news going on. It seems like every day there's something, and more than crime as well. So, one of the things that happened yesterday is that the mayor of the city of New Orleans, Helena Moreno, canceled a meeting with the state bond commission where they were expected to request permission to borrow some more money to help the city get out of its deficit situation. Well, she withdrew that, and she withdrew that because she can count, and it looked like the bond commission was ready to hear and also ready to ignore and reject the request. So Governor Jeff Landry came out and made it clear that the city of New Orleans doesn't know how to handle its finances, that the city of New Orleans already got a loan, and they still can't handle their business, and that there's no reason for the state bond commission to cooperate and help the city get on solid footing. So that left the city in a rather precarious situation because this is one part of getting the city on a good footing. But the governor says perhaps the city doesn't need help.
Mm.
Okay, so this is developing a story. All of this going back to what happened in the legislature and with Governor Jeff Landry's leadership to cut out the criminal court clerk job that Calvin Duncan had won overwhelmingly, 65%, and also to eliminate quite a number of Orleans Parish uh, judgeships. So then there was also 10 warrants or 10 assistant district attorneys that were eliminated. And there were also the cuts for New Orleans projects that added up to millions of dollars. One of the best estimates seems to be more than $30 million of projects. So all of that, city Democrats in particular, some state Democrats generally, feel like that's been retribution and political retaliation along the way, and that the grand jury would not have made up this, what the governor considers a bogus indictment, unless city Democrats were involved. Well, the lead Democrat in the city, the mayor of the city, Helena Moreno, said she didn't even know that a grand jury could do this. So the mayor, didn't have anything to do with that. I didn't even know until now that a grand jury could do that. So the Republicans are meanwhile looking for fingerprints to see where Democrats may have weighed in to see that the grand jury issued such an indictment. But at this point, nobody can point to anything.
Mm. Well, um, it's all politics now, isn't it?
Oh boy.
I mean, that this every single decision that's being made right now is a political one at this point. And that's a shame because at the end of the day, it's the citizens who pay the price. You know,
Hmm.
that is the unfortunate thing. Um, and I'm not even going to try to do the whole is politics on both sides things. I mean,
Hmm.
there's some disproportionate politics being played here, but unfortunately, the citizens pay. And unfortunately, it really hinders progress in either direction. It hinders city progress. It hinders state progress. It hinders a lot of progress. So it's really a shame to hear that everything is coming down to a political decision.
Yeah, the city was going to request $110 million. So it wasn't that the bond commission would give the money, but the state bond commission has to authorize the seeking of the money through bond sale. That's a $110 million request, and that could have gone a long way toward helping. Though the money the city requested borrowing earlier this year, that money has been used quite a bit for paying people. Because
Hmm.
if you recall, toward the end of last year, we didn't know if we were going to be able to pay city workers,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's pretty bad shape
Hmm.
for any operation. If you have two or more employees, and you get to the point where you have to say, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay you.
Yeah,
It's one thing with
yeah.
a business, and you might have to forego some pay for a week or two or a month, but it's your business operation. But when you have other people, and you have to say the hundreds of you might not get paid,
Yeah.
and we're already asking you to have a furlough day every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot. And you pointed it out yesterday that when you think about this from a holistic standpoint, and you think about all the business that the city of New Orleans draws into draws in, and how it benefits the state of Louisiana. You pointed out. I mean, Essence Festival did seem to do really well this year.
Hmm.
The state of Louisiana benefits from that.
You're darn right they do.
Yeah, I mean the state of Louisiana benefits from that. New Orleans is an event city, and so you have Essence Fest, and I don't even have to go down the list of all the festivals that we have at this point almost all year round. I mean, we hardly get a break from festivals, which is not a bad thing. But then you have, I mean, let's not forget, Bayou Classic is an intrastate event.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
Literally from top to bottom of the state,
Hmm.
it is an intrastate event. And then of course you have Sugar Bowl. Of course you have Mardi Gras, which Mardi Gras is gonna provide a shot in the arm because this is going to be early in
Hmm.
2027,
Hmm.
what, February 7th or something like that.
Hmm.
And so, you know, when it gets to the point where you just decide to play politics, and you have the city of New Orleans, like you said, telling his workers, um, "Hey, you may or may not get a paycheck."
Hmm.
I mean that's I think that's where a normal state would say, listen, I don't like you, you don't like me, but we need to keep this thing running.
Mm.
So let's figure out how
I'm
to do
sorry, Eddie. That sounds like common sense.
I mean it also sounds like professional behavior. I
Yeah.
mean it's
Right.
I mean I can't tell you how many people I've worked with who I have just really disliked, but when it came down to doing what's best for the institution or the company, the organization, I put that stuff away and said, "Okay, let's get this done."
Right.
And I'll deal with you later.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Well, the governor has accused of the city of making some mistakes, and one of the mistakes, financial mistakes, he's pointed to yesterday was the selling of the rights to future Caesar's Casino lease revenue, and that's something that the city did to get some immediate cash flow,
Yeah,
to get some immediate revenue. I'm not saying it was the best decision or the right decision, but when you're in a bind, you have to find ways to get some cash.
yeah,
The We certainly don't want city officials to do criminal activity to get money.
yeah.
Uh,
We've been there before.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah,
and we know that one of the reasons, not all the reasons, but one of the reasons that people do commit crime is because they run out of ways to have income,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so the baby's got to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to cook a meal. I'm just going to go and borrow these things from the store,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to get somebody's ATM because I need the money.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
right,
yeah,
but they're pushed into that situation. So Helena Moreno and team are working to find ways to fix this problem, and the governor is criticizing the ways that this has been handled, at least at this point. And let's not forget that there is a legislative auditor basically camping out at New Orleans City Hall
yeah,
to look over the finances and make sure the city stays on track. So there's more than normal state influence and state responsibility for making sure that New Orleans gets out of this bind. So it's not as though there's nobody from the state working in partnership with City Hall.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's still. I think one thing that could be said is that there are still opportunities for folks to. There's still opportunities for folks to act right. Hopefully, at
Mhm.
some point, somebody is gonna say, "Listen, I'm gonna be the bigger person, and this is what we're gonna do. This is how this is gonna happen." Um, but again, unfortunate. We can only hope that at some point is going to clear up. I tell you what does happen though. I mean, what happens is that when somebody does get in enough trouble, they they tend to magically make better decisions, and so hopefully that's it's not going to come to that. Hopefully, it's not going to come to a point where somebody, whoever that person is, I'm not talking about a specific person, but when hopefully we won't get to the point where it gets so bad for one person that they decide that they're going to act like they got some sense,
Hmm.
so we don't want to get to that point because I mean, again, the citizens are the ones who wind up paying the ultimate price for this. Next thing you know, there's an election for some kind of special tax. I mean, who? So yeah, we got to hope that people act like leaders, elected officials.
Yeah, and one of the things that has happened with this is there's argument, debate online. So there's social media posts
Hmm.
from the governor and from the mayor, and that's become a part of our reality about how you get your message out. Often,
Unfortunately.
so uh, Landry. Um, uh, at one point yesterday uh, pointed out that it was November that the city asked to borrow $125 million. And that money was repaid in May.
Mm.
Um, but he didn't put any context on that because the situation extended from the previous administration and city council
Hmm.
administration and city council uh, to create that mess. And the governor uh, criticized that Caesar Casino lease revenue. And from his perspective, it cost the city $50 million in future lease payments. So he gave up that to get immediate cash, and he doesn't look at that as a good deal. And he called it a decision that is tantamount to the largest payday loan by a municipality in recent times. For those folks who have used payday operations, you know what that means. You're not going to get an interest rate of 2%.
No, not quite. No, it's gonna be a little bit more than that,
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah, yeah. So you're gonna you get the immediate cash, but you're gonna pay for it with high interest. So he also criticized the city for urgently requesting a $110 million bond, which was going to be on the bond commission's agenda, and now saying that the money isn't needed, which is not quite what the mayor said.
Mm-hmm.
What the mayor said is that this would have been a good avenue for us. If they don't want to approve it, we have other ways to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, reading between the lines, I read that as if we were to get this approval for getting this money and we were to get this infusion, we might not have to do some things that we have on our list as backup plans, but it wouldn't be pretty.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
I don't think she needed to say all of that yesterday.
Right.
But with a move like this yesterday, expect some news coming from City Hall that might not be the best news about what the city has to do to keep moving things forward. For the mayor's part, she responded after Landry did his post and said that it would be likely as a part of the city's multi-year financial recovery to pursue the short-term bank loan last year, and that she noted that the Louisiana legislative auditor was in as a part of that, therefore making a connection to the state that we didn't just do this on our own. So we got what would appear to be tit for tat, but I'm sure from people on both sides, so to speak, they both think they're doing the right thing. But according to Middle, as you have noted, according to Middle, citizens of New Orleans and citizens of Louisiana,
Yeah.
because of the very thing you pointed to, the type of events
Mm-hmm.
that come here, and the state often provides funding, incentives, investment, and they want them to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But because those big events come to New Orleans and because they are successful, millions of dollars are pumped into the economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that money doesn't all stay here.
No.
Goes
No.
to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to push the city of New Orleans into bankruptcy, that could have a major impact on the state.
Yeah. It could. It
You know,
could. And this is, I mean, this is from the state level, this is, to me, this comes off as cutting off your nose to spite your face. This is, wanting to have the first, second, and last word. This is wanting to show, this want to show power and all of that good stuff. And it's really no good. Is at the end of the day, it's gonna wind up costing the state in more ways than one. Um, and I would really, I really wonder about Louisianans who are getting really tired of this. That's what I really wonder about. I really wonder about the people who say, "Listen, I voted how I voted, whatever that vote was, but at the end of the day, I was really trying to vote for someone who was going to put the state first, and to really pay attention to what the state needs." And I would be curious about someone who says, "Listen, I'm from North Louisiana, but I really want New Orleans to succeed.
Hmm.
Can we stop?
Right, right,
Can
right.
we just stop and figure out how to make sure that New Orleans just keeps everything going?" So that I would be curious about people have who have thoughts about that sort of thing. Particularly where I live in St. Tammany. I would be interested in what people in St. Tammany say about this sort of thing, and
Sure.
maybe St. Bernard and
Yeah.
and St. Charles and areas like that. I would be very curious about some of their feedback about some of this.
All right. Well, let's go to the talk line. Good morning, Ryan. You're on with Will Sutton and Eddie Francis. How are you?
Hey y'all,
Hey.
Morning.
happy Friday to you. Yes, I mean I'm glad that you mentioned those other parishes because I mean you know how many work vehicles and company trucks I see rolling in from Jefferson Parish, St. Tammany Parish, St. Bernard Parish, probably further, but I can note those three surrounding St. Charles. I mean, they come here to get their chunk of change. They get contracts. They do estimates and bids. They roll on in and then roll on out, bring that money right back to their parishes. So it would make sense to me that you want to see a secure New Orleans city, a secure Orleans parish. You know,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, we cash cow and everybody, but then they don't want to throw back down. It's just it's kind of wild. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it doesn't make any sense. And I wish that those neighboring parishes would say, hey, you know, we make our bones in Orleans Parish. I mean, I'm not saying all of their money comes from here,
Yeah.
but I guarantee you a big old chunk does.
Yeah.
A
Well, you
lot.
make a good point, and you might be preaching to the choir, but sometimes the choir needs to be reminded about why we do what we do and what's right and what's wrong. So I don't mind preaching to the choir sometimes. So, all right. The Lord's blessings, Ryan. Thanks for calling. Have
Thanks,
a great
Ryan.
Yeah,
day.
y'all have a great weekend. Okay.
All right.
You too.
Bye. All right,
Bye.
folks. We are going to break, and when we come back, we're going to have a conversation about Hampton University. There's a special reason that we're going to be talking about that. So I hope that you will stay tuned. We're going to have a special young lady joining us, one that Mr. Eddie Francis knows very, 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 very well.
Yes, I do. I do. I know this woman.
All right. So it's 7:23. If you got somewhere to be at 7:25, you got 2 minutes. Got a little bit more time if it's for 7:30. And I got so caught up in the things about the Mero case and money. I did not tell you about the weather. So it's 82 degrees and partly cloudy out there. We're going to have partly cloudy throughout the day. Temperatures will go up to about 88, 89, 90. So plan accordingly. We're going to have some thunderstorms this afternoon, early to mid-afternoon. All right, we're going to break. What's that talk line number, Eddie?
It is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about
All day long.
Good Friday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. New Orleans police are looking for leads after gunfire erupts in Central City, sending one to the hospital. This happened on Terpsichore and Freret Streets just after 8:15 p.m. We're working to learn more about the condition, the victim, and anything about a suspect. This morning, it's a war of words between New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno and Governor Jeff Landry. It comes after Moreno withdrew the city's loan request before a state bond commission next week, saying denial appeared imminent. Landry released a letter saying, quote, "How is it that the city one day needs $110 million and today it does not?" Moreno fired back, saying the need didn't disappear, but the city developed an alternative plan to make it through the year without a bond commission approval. Now, sources tell WDSU the plan is to continue furloughs for the foreseeable future. Moreno also requested a meeting with Governor Landry rather than a back and forth over letters. And the hearing against the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board regarding the French Quarter construction case will now take place next week. It was rescheduled due to service issues. Business owners filed an injunction over the project, saying the delays have cost them tens of thousands of dollars and some have shut down. The injunction demands the Sewage and Water Board remove barricades where construction isn't taking place, along with the list of other requests. The hearing is scheduled for next Thursday. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK.
Norman Robinson is back,
Can you hear me now?
and he's taking no prisoners.
Can you hear me now?
Each weekday, Norman Robinson brings you commentary with Off the Top.
The incident was shocking, disturbing, disgusting, disappointing, and sad.
Each weekday, Off the Top with Norman Robinson is heard exclusively right here.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Hello, I'm Ozempic.
And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Hey, are you shaking a maraca?
No, I'm shaking the pill version of Ozempic, which no one should ever do except in ads like this.
A nice disclaimer.
Hey, thanks. Ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of the Ozempic pen or pill may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide tablets, 9 milligrams, and Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams.
There's a pill version of Ozempic.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state, only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This invitation goes out to all of us unworthy sinners who's been saved by the grace of God, where you and I are only made worthy by the blood of the Lamb and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We're FIJTC, Faithers in Jesus the Christ. My name is Mr. Rocky. You can tune in to WBOK 1230 a.m. Sunday mornings from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Hope to see you there.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Step back in time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum, located in the heart of the Warehouse District in New Orleans. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling America's story in the war that changed everything, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. It's an experience. Plan your visit today at nationalww2museum.org. World War II Museum, where history lives.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today will be very similar to yesterday. Highs in the low 90s, heat indices 100 degrees or more. And then the potential for rain and thunderstorms as early as noon and lasting through about 6 and 7 o'clock. So keep that rain jacket and umbrella handy. Now, as we move into this weekend, elevated chances for rain and thunderstorms. So with that being said, Saturday and Sunday are both WDSU first warning weather impact days. And as that flood threat increases on Monday, Monday is now a WDSU first warning weather alert day. So you can find
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show at 7:31 a.m. I'm Will Sutton here with Eddie Francis, and as promised before the break, we're going to jump into a conversation about none other than Hampton University. And let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Proud Hampton Pirate. It is my home by the sea. You can't mention Hampton and not mention that. But I'm not going to talk about how lovely Hampton is and how tremendous it is, and because we have guests. So we're going to have our guests talk today. So we've got Tyrell Hayes, who's in charge of giving, and we've got Dr. Halima Francis, who you know a little something about Eddie Francis, huh?
A little bit. A little bit. I know where to find him.
Yeah, right. Oh, boy. Well, you all are here because there's something happening in the city, and it's not just for folks who live here. So, Halima, you are the president. Still, yes?
I'm outgoing president.
Outgoing,
So
okay. All right. How many hours you got?
As of June 30th, I turned over my keys.
Okay.
But,
all right.
I'm the outgoing president of the New Orleans chapter of the National Hampton Alumni Association. I served as president for 2024 to 2026. Our incoming president, I am very excited to share, is Miss Maya Gunts, who is an amazing, wonderful young lady. And our chapter actually serves the entire state of Louisiana. So if you are out there listening and you're in Louisiana and you're a Hamptonian or a family member of a Hamptonian, as Eddie is, you have a home with us. So we welcome you.
So, Eddie, why does she know where to find you day and night?
Because we just happen to be married to one another. He's married.
So he has on his Hampton shirt. So I mentioned affiliate members,
Yes.
and Eddie's actually an affiliate member of the Hampton chapter, though he is an alum of TSU and Loyola. We welcomed him into the fold and pressed him into service.
All right.
It was actually kind of it was the force du jour.
Would you like to be happy?
Yeah, I would like to be happy. Yes.
So, is this a conference that happens all the time or periodically? Does it move around?
It's every other year. So we used to call it the biennial conference, right? And we just dropped biennial for this year, and I'm not quite sure if that's going to continue, but it's every other year. The last time it was held, it was in Atlanta. So it does move around based on the regions and based on leadership and everything. So we've had a dynamic conference planning committee that it was headed by Carmen Tia Greer. And
one of my former students.
Yes, one of your former students.
I
forgot about that. Yes. So we're really, really excited to be the host chapter this year.
So Tyrell, what's your role here, and how does a conference like this that brings together Hamptonians, what difference does this make for Hampton University?
Yeah. Thank you guys for hosting us. We've had an amazing time in New Orleans. I feel like I've already gained 2 pounds. I've been here 12 hours. So you know how that is. So my doctor's going to be like, you've been somewhere. You shouldn't have been. But ultimately, what this has done, but thank you for welcoming us here. And we've had such an amazing time. When we think about how biennial links into, or the alumni conference links into our national mantra, we are all about giving money back to Hampton. We exist as an alumni association to do 2 things: raise money and recruit students. And so when you think about that angle, activating the alumni nationally, getting them excited, training chapters, having some of the governance conversations that we have to do the business of the association, all leads back to our big 2 promises, which is about how do we really excite the alumni base so that we can raise more money for the school. And how can we get everyone trained so that we can go out and be the best representations of Hampton possible to recruit more students.
So one of the things that people, the listeners have heard me make the reference, and this was a reference that listeners might have heard, you're home by the sea.
Yes.
So Halima, talk about that. What is that reference about for people who are going? What are they talking about the sea? What's happening? You know.
So if you have not seen Hampton's campus, it is arguably I'm going to just put my reputation on it. It is the most beautiful college campus in the country, and I work for Tulane.
And let me just add, not the most beautiful HBCU campus.
I said college, university.
You did.
I was very specific and intentional in that.
Yes.
So our campus is situated on a peninsula in the Hampton Roads area. So it's surrounded by water on three sides of the peninsula. And we have a sailing team. We have beautiful, just the landscaping of the campus. I want to say about 136 acres. Yeah. So we have that space there. And there are historic things there, like Emancipation Oak, where the reading of the Emancipation Proclamation was read for newly freed slaves in the area.
And Emancipation Oak is a tree.
It is a tree.
Right.
It's a physical tree that is still standing. It is gorgeous. It's one of those iconic spaces.
Since 1863. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The tree was not planted in 1863. It was much older when the Emancipation Proclamation was read. But neither.
Okay. Yeah.
We also have our chapel. So if you go into our chapel and look around the top of the chapel, you'll see these beautiful carvings of Native Americans that were they were there at the time. So there was partnership there, working together to build the campus, and they carved faces. And as I was told, as I recall from University 101, it was in honor of their ancestors, of their family members. So they wanted to capture that memory. So that is embedded in the space. So as you walk around campus, you really get to embrace and understand not only your experience as a student, but your connection to the legacy. And that's a big part of it being a home by the sea. We also have a tradition of naming our classes that we pass on. So I'm Ogre Phi Ogre 9, and that class name has historical roots. And it was passed down to us, and I think we're on like Ogre almost 20 now. Or something. Right. Exactly. So we have different class names, and it creates this, again, home. So when we say home by the sea, it is deeper than a physical space. Certainly the physical space embodies that, but it is also the relationships.
Yeah. And of course, for people who don't know, Hampton's most famous alumnus is the person who just happened to found Tuskegee. Yes. And so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So W.B. Du Bois is one of our Booker T. I'm sorry, I said W.B. Du Bois. I'm very close. I was like, that didn't sound right when it came out.
They did. Booker T just did a half roll in his grave on that.
Right. I was like, what in the world?
He was like, I made P with WB, but that was
right. Booker T. Washington is. I'm gonna start over on that one. We can't do a live retake on that. Is one of our most illustrious alums. And speaking of the Emancipation Oak, when you go to campus, there's a statue of Booker T, and he is pointing, and what he is pointing to is freedom, and that freedom he's pointing to is the Emancipation Oak. So the campus is not only has all these amazing landmarks, but it's very strategically placed to tell a story. And that story, so each time as a student and you walk by and you visually see Booker T pointing to something, it's a reminder even in 2025 that freedom is still in front of us, and we have to be very thoughtful about kind of how we move that forward. So for me, that home by the sea really came to life in the beautiful campus one, but also in that feeling, in the idea that I feel like Hampton is home, and it is a second home. Many of my classmates have gotten married there. We are sending our kids back, and it really does embody the emotional elements of what home means as well. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why alumni feel so connected to it in such deep ways.
Yeah. I think when Halima and when we started dating and she was telling me about Hampton, I said, the thing about New Orleans is kind of a shame is that we don't necessarily have a strong Hampton presence there. So my classmates, everything was Howard, Xavier, Morehouse, Southern Grambling, and I told her, I was like, well, if I had known what Hampton even looked like in the first place, I would have applied in a second.
Right.
And so I've spoken to friends who have said, well, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to send this child to school. What am I going to do? And I don't know where I'm going to send them. And I always say, just if you can get to Hampton, you have to go see it.
Yeah.
You really, really have to go see the campus itself. And I actually did. One of my friends did say, he said, yeah, man. And his daughter's there right now. And he said, yeah, when I saw that place, I was going, wait, this is where you want to go to school? Fine. And so one of Halima's funny stories is that her parents always wound up vacationing.
And I never saw them. They were on vacation. Yeah. And putting on my academic and professorial hat, space matters, right? So when you are a student who is exploring your academic interests, your career path, having a space that kind of intellectually liberates you and is there, and it reflects all of these values of freedom and family and connection and safety, that plays a huge role in your trajectory. That honestly shapes a lot of what you see as possibilities for yourself. So in the Hamptonian DNA, one of the consistent things I have seen is this really interesting creativity and resolve and nimbleness. And we can create things out of nothing and out of the worst of conditions. And if you give us the best of conditions, stand back and watch out. So that is when you talk about like the mystique of different institutions. So you hear a lot about the Morehouse mystique or the Spelman mystique. There's a Hampton mystique as well that you see in the character of Hamptonians. So
something I'll add to that story is really links to all Black spaces, but I'll pull Hampton uniquely out and talk a bit about what I experienced, at least, and what many have experienced. Black spaces matter, spaces where you are seen, heard, felt matter, right? And I think what I felt like Hampton did well was also provide me a diversity inside of that space. So to go somewhere where there is diversity inside of a group allows me to have a deeper understanding of who I am and my possibilities versus I'm going to the place where there are all of us. I went to an all-Black high school and an all-Black college, but they were very different because the diversity of Black people that were at Hampton. In my friend group, I casually say, I have friends who were raised in the projects of New York City in my friend group, and friends whose fathers own law practices. And we were all friends in the same group. And what that does is it just allowed me to step back and say, oh, black can be anything. We can be all these things versus what I was kind of told from my city and my high school Black was, because it was very narrowly defined by both race and class. So we were just kind of one group of people. Going to a school like a Hampton helped me really expand that definition. And once I expanded the definition of what I could be, it opened the possibilities to all that creativity that was unlocked underneath that didn't have a way to come out because it didn't have a pathway.
Well, part of my Hampton story is since I'm a little bit older than you all. So I was considering colleges, universities back in the 70s. And, of course, we didn't have social media. There was no virtual tour. There was no internet. Let me just remind you.
Yeah.
And so I went to the counselor's office at St. Augustine High School, and I would visit there frequently because I was like really serious about where would I go. I could have stayed home because my dad was at Dillard University. I was like, sounds like a good option.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in some other things. And so part of what helped me make that decision to choose Hampton was the academics that I saw in the catalog and how excited the counselor was about that possibility. If you really want to leave home. And the other part was the beautiful, beautiful pictures. So I chose Hampton without visiting.
But I mean, that's really not an uncommon story. But there's something that I wanted to get back to about the diversity of Black folks at an institution.
Yeah.
Because the bad rap that HBCUs get from a lot of folks is, well, if I'm gonna be around a bunch of Black people, all I'm doing is going around a bunch of Black people. There's no diversity there. But I bring this story up. Halim and I were at one of the homecomings, and we were standing in line for the alumni gathering.
Strawberry Banks.
Yeah, Strawberry Banks. And I was listening to all the dialects, and I was like, okay, this is like straight up Philly, Jersey, New York. And I was like, and then you hear a little bit of South in those dialects. And it was really cool because I was going, man, this is really cool to hear all of these different dialects, all these different people from all these different places. And then you realize, to your point, there are a lot of really different people. A lot of different Black folks who come from every spectrum. I mean, some come from money, some come from nothing,
Right.
And to put everybody, talk a little bit more about what it's like to be on a campus and to have all these Black folks from these different regions, from these different socioeconomic statuses, who find a way to become brothers and sisters.
So we're going to have to take a break and get that answer right after the break. This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. I'm Will Sutton with Eddie Francis. It's 7:47 a.m. If you got somewhere to be at 8, you got a few minutes to get there. And if you have one of those cool jobs where you can just roll on to the other side of the bed, grab that laptop and fire it up, that's okay too. Then you don't have far to go. But if you got to get in a vehicle, please, please, please take care of your personal care at home so you can focus on driving and being safe for yourself and for others. Eddie, what's that talk line number?
It is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 a.m. and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to all day long.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. Want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. Want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. See you on Saturday.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton with Eddie Francis, and we've got visitors representing Hampton University, Dr. Halima Lee Francis and Tyrell Hayes. And Eddie asked a question before going on a break, and we want an answer, please.
Well, so just to restate the question, and it's not necessarily specifically about Hampton, but one of the No, I got a kick out of that when I heard the university alma mater. I was like, ha, ha. Like, oh, so, but one of the criticisms that people have of HBCUs is that there's not enough quote unquote diversity. But Terrell, you brought up a really interesting point about the different types of Black folks you met. So, talk about the different types of Black folks who you have on either at Hampton or anywhere else, and how that really debunks that lack of diversity myth.
The idea is there's a lot. The kind of cultural story that we tell is that we need to immerse ourselves in mainstream culture in order to be successful. And I think what HBCUs and Black specifically do is they challenge that idea, and they challenge it by saying, no, you don't have to. They give a counter. The counter that HBCUs and Hampton specifically gave is you can come here and find yourself more deeply before you go out into the mainstream world, because what we're going to give you will sustain you once you go out into the world versus you going out unknowing and then taking on the world at 22 with no real practice of who you are or who they are. So with that, for me at Hampton, having that diversity allowed me to tap into, to one, see the potential of interests and pathways. Because I don't have to say, it's not fictional that somebody, a celebrity did it or a historical figure did it. My friend's father did it. Like the person who I'm sitting in school with, your father did it, or your uncle did it, or your brother did it, right? And so therefore we can do it. And so it made it much more accessible than a textbook of something that I can go out and do. And then secondly, once you unlock the vision of it, it then allows a student or a young person to say, well, what's the pathway? Like, what's the what how can I get there? And being in a place where you can walk in and say, I'll use one friend's example. I have a friend who came in he's from New Orleans, surprisingly, from New Orleans. He came to Hampton, kind of sight unseen as well, and came in marine biology. He's like, I'm from New Orleans. I'm going to be a marine biologist. I'm going to get back to my community. And he got to Hampton and realized that he wanted to be a dancer.
Oh, wow.
And became a dancer. Like, graduated, went on to dance at a number of dance companies and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if that experience would have happened. He would have, one, seen a vision of a Black man that can be a dancer, but then also have a place that can say, you have no dance background. Let me take care of you and nurture you for the time that I have to launch you into the world to help you fulfill your dream. And I think that is what that diversity inside the community can unlock, both access and creativity to help you find your pathway there.
That's really well put. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I can add to that. I curated a playlist for the conference. And as I was going through the songs and reflecting on it, I wanted to capture a range of musical and artistic representations of my Hampton experience and also the HBCU experience. And as I looked at the playlist when I was finished, there was everything from spirituals to gospel to the songs that you hear from the bands, funk, all those things. Opera is represented. And that's what I see in Hampton. We and all of our HBCUs, quite frankly, this diversity, this range of possibility, this range of craft, this ability to define yourself for yourself and really to do that in real time in a very, very real way. We are not limited by the frameworks that society tells us we are supposed to be. And that equipped me going into my own professional experiences. My name is Halima. So there have been contexts and places where I've had to defend my own name.
Right.
And people have said to me, really, in a work context, have you thought about going by your middle name or just your initials? And I said, no, I have never thought about that because that is my name. Have you thought about changing yours? I would not have had the audacity and the courage to do that for myself had it not been one for my parents, but also what was reinforced at Hampton. So it is being exposed to that diversity, you're given the language, you're given the self positioning to be able to navigate those kinds of things, those hidden issues that you see when you go into your career.
So what are you all going to be doing this weekend? I mean, all these Hampton people coming together. You know, Hampton's known for lots of stuff, but but one thing is they like to have fun.
Yes. We like to have fun.
We won't forget that part.
Is there going to be any time for fun? And what kind of business is going to be taken care of?
Yeah, so I'm looking, when I look at the lineup and the program, and I think brain trust. Like, we're all putting our big, wonderful, amazing Hampton brains together to, one, achieve the goals that Tyel talked about earlier, recruiting students and raising money. So really figuring out as an alumni community how we can be a resource for the university. So there are a series of plenary sessions. I'm going to look at the program as well. But we do have some really important conversations that are happening. Will, you're actually moderating the panel today.
Yes. Is that what he has on the side?
Got dressed this morning.
You got dressed this morning.
Put on his good clothes.
Yeah, right.
So the one of the panels today will be about reimagining the future of HBCUs in a changing landscape. So that's happening today. I'll also be moderating a panel tomorrow that's about Hampton then, now, and what's next. So spoiler alert, there is a question in there about Hampton being a part of the Research One Consortium, which is huge. That is really important. And on the fun front, we do have planned an HBCU mixer that's going to be at, I can't remember the name of the place. Yes, you remember.
I have no idea where it's going to be, but it's going to happen. It's going to be
HBCU
great.
mixer.
It's going to be wonderful.
I can look it up real quick. But yeah, so we're going to have a wonderful time fellowshipping with one another, learning from one another, and just kind of connecting with one another. And Sunday, appropriately, we're going to wrap up with a memorial service to honor the legacy and the work of our passed on Hamptonians. And the HBCU mixer will be at the Community Sailing New Orleans. Yes,
okay.
Yes. So that is going to be a treat.
That's a nice place.
I'll add, and some of the business we're taking care of is we do have to do some of the governance. So we have some bylaws, things we got to introduce. This also is the introduction of our new board. So we have elections every 2 years. So our new president started on July 1st. So April Broadway is taking over the helm as president of the Alumni Association. So we'll be installing her tomorrow, and then we'll have our council meeting. But what I'll be doing is I will be rolling out the alumni giving goals for the year, so we can get everyone setting on the same ship here, sailing in the same direction on giving. Last year, we hit our highest alumni giving with over $6 million given back to Hampton by alum only. And so we want to push that up to 7, then 10. So what we're going to do this weekend is roll out what those goals are for each chapter and classes to really join in so that we can do our part to get back to our home by the sea, because it's our home. So we're going to get back to it.
Okay, so we got less than a minute. We got some mamas and some daddies out there. We got some grandpas and nanas out there. We got some aunts and uncles. They know some kids in school who are relatives in blood, and they're looking for a place to choose. Give me the 30 to 40 second pitch. Why Hampton University?
Oh, goodness. Hampton University. So you introduced me as Dr. Halima Lee Francis.
Yes.
Hampton University set that in motion. It gave me something that I could not have imagined that I would receive in being a student there, being an alum of the institution, and being a part of the Hampton family. So it is worth every penny of the investment. It is an investment, but it is worth every penny.
Okay.
Hampton similarly helped set the trajectory, helped me see myself more deeply, so my impact could be much bigger. It launched me into a career that I never thought was possible. My parents never thought was possible for myself. And so right now I lead marketing for BET Networks, and I would have never been able to have the skill set to do this job, one, or the cultural competence to do it well had I not gone to Hampton.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to joining you all today. Nice mixer last night. Nice meet and greet. Looking forward to some good reports and seeing some good things from my Hampton colleague alum. It is 8:01. I'm Will Sutton with Eddie Francis. We're going to be taking a break, and when we come back, we're going to have some more news and information to share with you. One more time, how can somebody reach out to someone connected to Hampton if they're interested, or even if they're curious?
Yes, so you can go to hamptonu.edu for more information on the university, and you can reach the alumni, the admissions office, everything will be at hamptonu.edu.
Okay. Eddie, what's that talk line number?
It is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Vice President J.D. Vance took aim at Democrats during a speech in Wisconsin.
The Democrats have thrown their lot in with the people who want to abolish the police, who want to open the border and want to give your money to fraudsters instead of moms who need it.
Vance highlighted the Trump administration's efforts to combat health care fraud while criticizing Democratic leaders. President Trump is touting overall job growth as Black unemployment remains above the national average. New federal data shows Black unemployment at 6.6% in June compared to 4.2% nationwide. Critics say more must be done to close the employment gap. And FIFA has opened an investigation into an alleged racist incident involving streamer IShowSpeed during the World Cup. The probe follows claims a fan made discriminatory remarks during the Argentina-Cape Verde match. FIFA says it is reviewing the incident. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton, and here with Eddie Francis. It's 8:05 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 8:10. You got about 5 minutes, and if you got there to be there 8:15 or 8:30, a little bit more time. But I strongly encourage you to take care of your personal care items at home and not in the car on the road. Babies and kiddos are out of school, but they are in your neighborhood, maybe in your driveway, at the parks, at the swimming pool, at Nord, or hanging out wherever they hang out. Please watch out for them so they can live another day and get ready for another school year after they enjoy their summer. So we are going to be joined in conversation momentarily by State Representative Candace Newell and Newell. Why do I do that? I know. And not only does she have that title, but she is the new head of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus. I know I rang the bell before.
You did.
But I
did.
I love that.
Thank you.
All right. So there's always stuff going on, but one of the things that happened just a few days ago was a shock for a lot of folks, and that is State Senator Larry Selders passed away. He had been sick, but there was lots of prayers going up for him. And it was, I didn't see him, but a number of people saw him at the Essence Festival just this past weekend.
Yes.
And that was, I mean, people were so happy just to see him out.
Yes.
And to see him at such an event. And little did any of those folks know that would be the last time.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Larry Selders, because he represented Baton Rouge, not New Orleans. But it's kind of amazing how there's so many people speaking about him, including Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry.
Yes, Larry was that type of person. You know how you watch Dateline, and they said this person had a electric personality, a smile that would lighten up the room. That was Larry. No matter what was going on, he would walk in, and he always brought a smile to my face. He was the type of person that would bring a calm and a type of level-headed view to whatever it was we were discussing. We came in as freshmen together, and we were around the same age. Myself, Larry, Marcus Bryant, Ted James. Ted was there already, but we were all around the same age. So we hung out a bit, just trying to learn the ropes from Ted and the other guys. But Larry was just that guy. We called him Larry Legend. We called him Larry Legend because it was no matter where we went, it wasn't just one person. It was groups of people who were drawn to him. He just had that type of person. And he wasn't loud.
Right.
He was a tall, big guy, but he was not loud. He would sit, in rooms in the corner. If we were out, he would sit at the bar. But it was like the crowd gravitated towards him. He gave his boys the best experience that children could wish to have, hunting, fishing, just exposure, what we want our kids to have. And Larry ensured that they had that. He and his wife had a weekly date night at a restaurant in Baton Rouge, so much so that when he was in the hospital, the owner of the restaurant bought them their Thursday night dinner at the hospital because they had their date night. That was their thing. And he ensured that did not stop. And that's the type of person Larry was that you wanted to be around him.
That says a lot.
Yes.
That owner of any restaurant would know that this is so important to you that they're going to deliver a
Yes.
date night meal
at the hospital.
At the hospital, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this wasn't Uber Eats.
No. Definitely not.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
yeah.
he is gonna truly be missed. You know, that when I got the call, it was like that was not on my radar because he looked great when I saw him over the weekend. He looked healthy. He looked like Larry.
Yeah.
You know, because the last time I'd seen him before the concert, he came the last day of session, and right before that, I'd seen him in the hospital. And he was on the mend then. He looked as though he was getting better. But when I saw him at the concert, he looked like he was back. And he said that, I'm back. And I'm like, okay, and his wife's a physician, so I'm like, she let you come, so you must be fine.
Yeah.
Never knowing that.
So amazing personality, charming, and a magnet.
Yes.
But he also got things done.
Yes.
He represented his district well.
Yes.
It's my understanding that he was very focused on his district, and so sometimes he might think about the people of his district and do something different than what people might have thought that he might do. But talk a little bit about him as a legislator.
Again, he was that one that he brought a different outlook to everything. He was that one that would work as the devil's advocate sometimes, but not put you on a defensive when it. And I make sure that my colleagues get the credit for the legislation they bring, even though everybody else doesn't. Larry gave us he bought the bill for Louisiana to have Juneteenth as a state holiday before it was a federal holiday. Larry Selders authored the legislation which helped him or could have helped him to require that coaches have CPR training. He authored that, and it was a coach that stepped in with CPR when he collapsed around the football field, but where his boys were practicing. When we were in hard, I'm sorry, y'all.
Take your time.
When we were in hard discussion about taxes and this criminal justice session, he, always brought in a different outlook and added to those hard conversations, and never in an adversarial way, always looking at it from the perspective of families. Yeah, so I did not realize this was going to affect me this much, but like you said, he always looked out for the people of his district when he was in the House as well as when he went to the Senate. He was that person, that other voice that you can go to. I have my own Senator, Jimmy Harris, but if I needed extra help or something, Larry was always someone that members of the House could go to.
All right, we're going to go to the talk line. Somebody who knew Larry Selders quite well. We have none other than Baton Rouge's own Ted James on the line.
Thanks for joining
You're
us.
on with Will Sutton, Eddie Francis, and our Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus Chair. Good morning, Mr. James.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Good morning, Professor.
Tell us about your relationship with Larry Selders. When did you first meet him? How did you get to know him? And then what kind of...
I knew Larry before he was the politician. And, and we met at Southern University. Larry's a couple years younger than I am. And we had similar friends, but we didn't really connect until around 2006 when I got out of law school, and Larry was considering running for the Metro Council. Well, I'm not going to say considering. He had his mindset on running for the Metro Council. And Larry had run, and he lost by 7 votes. And it like really lit a fire under him, because he was not one that talked a lot about, I want to do this, I want to do that. He was active in his community, in his neighborhood, but he just had this burning desire to be on the Metro Council. He kept saying, Laura told me I want to run for the Metro Council. We talked about school board. We talked about some other things. He's like, no, this is what I want. And he ran unsuccessfully a second time, and it just didn't stop, for people that run for office, and if they don't get it the first time, people usually just, figure, hey, it's not for me, I'll sit it out. And then, he got to the Capitol, and I had the pleasure of sitting next to Larry. Larry was my seatmate, and, Madam Chair will tell you, Larry is not one that talks often. And, quite honestly, even when he campaigned, he was like, you guys, I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. And I would tell Larry, stop telling folks you're not a talker. You go into the legislature, you have to talk. Stop saying it. And then he was like, well, this is who I am. I said, well, be somebody else until you get elected. But he was like, when he got there, he didn't have to talk as much. And, especially sitting by me, he probably couldn't talk because I talk all the time.
No, he couldn't.
But, yeah. But, he became, a different type of legislator, and he was able to, get things done without being loud, and I think that, his presence spoke louder than any words he could have, muttered out, but he's just an overall good guy. When you hear people talking about him, just, he was nice. Mm-hmm. Candace, I don't know if you have ever done like the legislative rodeos and all these different things, the fishing trips.
Yes.
10 years, I never went fishing. I didn't go hunting with any of my colleagues. And Larry, he loved that. Like a couple months ago, he was in North Louisiana deer hunting, and then they taught him how to skin deer, and he started bringing deer back to folks.
Yes.
He loved the different experiences. And
he did.
I think that, he really enjoyed like serving in the legislature. I'll be honest, after a while I kind of took it for granted, but Larry was one that he enjoyed being there. And, one of the things that he kept saying, he was like, I'm not supposed to be here. With the way I grew up, I'm not supposed to be here.
Right.
So while I'm here, I am going to fully take advantage of everything that being a member of the legislature will afford me to do.
Yes. And Ted, I don't know if you were on, because I was saying the same thing as how you embraced everything, but then also gave that experience to his boys. Luke and Larry went with him everywhere.
Yeah.
On some of these
not just Luke and Larry, but his boys from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like Larry would bring Big Baby and Omar, and it was funny.
Yes.
I never told him. I wasn't one of them people like, hey man, all your friends don't need to come to all these political events. But some folks would tell Larry like, hey man, you rolling up like a rap star. You got all your boys with you, and and Larry. So we were at his. Yesterday we were at his house, and the boys were kind of telling the story. His homeboys were telling the story how Larry used to fuss at them and try to make them buy, as they said, church clothes. And I laughed, and I said, well, it's funny because I never knew that he really put that pressure on them. And I told him, I said, but let me tell you, he defended y'all when people were like, hey, man, why you bringing these guys around? And Larry was like, because they my people. They were my people before I got here. They're going to be my people while I'm here, and they're going to be my people when I'm gone. Yeah. And it just, he was adamant about not just Luke and Larry, but he was adamant about, like, his homeboys. I got elected to the Senate We got elected.
We got elected. That's
I'm going to the Saints game in a suite. We going to the Saints game in a suite. Like, he brought the people with him.
He did, because Omar was with him in essence. And I saw him.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're
he is sorely going to be missed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back. I'm Will Sutton here with Eddie Francis. It's 8:21 a.m. If you got somewhere to be at 8:30, you got about 9 minutes or so. And you're going to want to take your time, make sure that you take care of the mustache or the makeup or the beard trim at home.
Yes.
So that you can be safe in the car. Pay attention.
Yes, mascara
and get
at home.
what you need to do and be where you need to be. Eddie, what's that talk line number?
It is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good Friday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. New Orleans police are looking for leads after gunfire erupts in Central City, sending one to the hospital. This happened on Terpsichore and Freret Streets just after 8:15 p.m. We're working to learn more about the condition, the victim, and anything about a suspect. This morning, it's a war of words between New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno and Governor Jeff Landry. It comes after Moreno withdrew the city's loan request before a state bond commission next week, saying denial appeared imminent. Landry released a letter saying, quote, "How is it that the city one day needs $110 million and today it does not?" Moreno fired back, saying the need didn't disappear, but the city developed an alternative plan to make it through the year without a bond commission approval. Now, sources tell WDSU the plan is to continue furloughs for the foreseeable future. Moreno also requested a meeting with Governor Landry rather than a back and forth over letters. And the hearing against the New Orleans Sewerage and Water Board regarding the French Quarter construction case will now take place next week. It was rescheduled due to service issues. Business owners filed an injunction over the project, saying the delays have cost them tens of thousands of dollars and some have shut down. The injunction demands the Sewerage and Water Board remove barricades where construction isn't taking place, along with the list of other requests. The hearing is scheduled for next Thursday. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
When it comes to family planning, should you go with a will or a trust?
A will is like leaving instructions to the court. It tells them who gets what, but your family still has to go through a succession, which can be costly and time-consuming.
A trust, on the other hand, avoids court altogether. So when the time comes, everything transfers smoothly to your loved ones.
It's a little more work up front, but way less hassle and expense later. Plan smart, save time, and take care of your family.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Greetings and salutations. I am Elwood B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today will be very similar to yesterday. Highs in the low 90s, heat indices 100 degrees or more. And And then the potential for rain and thunderstorms as early as noon and lasting through about 6 and 7 o'clock. So keep that rain jacket and umbrella handy. Now, as we move into this weekend, elevated chances for rain and thunderstorms. So with that being said, Saturday and Sunday are both WDSU first warning weather impact days. And as that flood threat increases on Monday, Monday is now a WDSU first warning weather alert day. So you can find
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton here with Eddie Francis. It's 8:26 a.m. We just had a good conversation with Ted James out of Baton Rouge and our very own Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus Chair. And we're going to pivot and take a look at what the heck is going on between Baton Rouge. I've got to be careful when you say that. Doesn't mean all of Baton Rouge.
No, not
people
all.
who are headquartered there, have offices there, not Baton Rouge citizens and even Baton Rouge politicians and appointed people, but two people in particular, Governor Jeff Landry and Attorney General Liz Murrow, and what's been happening in New Orleans and to New Orleans. And I'll just summarize it this way. We've got a tiff going on right now, but if you ask me, it didn't start with just an indictment. It started a while back with the elimination of the criminal court clerk job when someone had been duly elected. It continued with the legislature getting rid of multiple judicial seats. It continued with 10 warrants or assistant DAs being eliminated. And it continued with more than $30 million in cuts by veto, focused on Orleans Parish. So there are a number of reasons for folks who represent New Orleans, parts of New Orleans, to be upset.
Yes.
But the grand jury that was seated is supposed to be anonymous. But to my understanding, I don't believe any of these elected officials were part of the grand jury.
I know I wasn't. I know. I was not asked.
but it seems like the leadership here is being blamed for this indictment, which the grand jury initiated itself. So how are you looking at this? And did you anticipate something like this coming out of the legislative action and the vetoes?
Okay, so let me answer that the way I understood it.
Okay.
Do I understand this fallout now between the governor and the mayor coming out of a grand jury? Absolutely not. Because the mayor does not place people on the grand jury. She does not have control over the grand jury. So I didn't understand how electeds here got the blame for the grand jury or the decision that they made. I also did not see this type of fallout coming out as the reaction to the vetoes, the projects that were vetoed. I did anticipate there being requests made for certain projects to still be funded. I did anticipate the mayor continuing on with going to the bond commission, but I did not see this type of fallout happening. I don't understand the timeline. I just don't understand how we got here. Because that's just not, I can't say the natural progression, but that's not typical. Right. So I just didn't see it, and I support the mayor's decision. She don't need my permission to do anything, but I support and I understand. Let me say that I understand why she pulled the application. because we see people who vote on things, and I'm not disparaging anybody. I'm giving facts on what I have seen as a legislator. But we see where people will vote against their own interests or vote against things that they believe in just to avoid what's happening in New Orleans, avoid that from happening in their area. So they'll do what they're told or do what is asked of them just so they're not in this situation that New Orleans is, even if it's voting against what's actually needed for your area.
Ted, I know you got to go. We'd like to get your perspective as somebody who's deeply knowledgeable about Louisiana state legislature, the governor in New Orleans. What do you see? How do we get here?
Yeah, I think that, there's this thick infatuation with ruining New Orleans, right? As someone that was outside of New Orleans, I always felt connected because I served in a district that was a former New Orleans district, 101. And because of the friendships that I had with folks, I always was supportive of things. And I think that there's always been like just an underlying jealousy, so to speak, of folks in the northern part of the state about New Orleans, because New Orleans has been very, very successful with the dynamic legislators that you all continue to send with pulling resources to New Orleans, right? From, just infrastructure to film to, what happens as the tourist capital of the state. And, I used to joke with my New Orleans colleagues, and I have to remind them, you guys do know that you are not the capital of the state anymore. So you act like the capital. But but, and this thing is, an attack on the entire state. And I remember, former Mayor Cantrell coming to the legislature, and there's this big tax vote when I served on Ways and Means, and they were trying to increase the, taxes for, local, like hotel, motel, and I think it was like fair share. I can't remember what the
fair
what
share
the motto
Act.
was. Yeah, fair share. And, and they were lobbying me heavy on. I always intended to vote for it, but the mayor was like, she came and she said, just imagine your house, and every day your house is 30 people using your bathroom. Every hour on the hour. It's 30 people taking showers every hour on the hour. Imagine what that does to the infrastructure of your house. And she's like, that's New Orleans, right? Like your constituents come and they are coming to enjoy our city, but there's wear and tear associated with it. There's upkeep that's associated with it. So she made a very compelling case for why we, the other 63, should support the one parish of Orleans. And it just seems like, now there is that jealousy has morphed into something else. Of course, now that I'm a lobbyist, I'm not going to say everything that I really think right now, but, I was very shocked when I saw what happened with the grand jury. But, it's this old saying that came into my head, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? Because you're seeing this retribution from DC trickle on down. I don't like you, so I want to try to prosecute you. You are against me, so I want to try to prosecute you. Your friends are against me, so I want to try to prosecute you. And we're seeing it happen, and so often we are on the opposite side of it, right? So now there's this big hoopla because it seems as if the Attorney General now has found herself in the crosshairs and in as the bullseye now, and their office has been doing some similar things. So at the end of the day, the people that are truly going to suffer are the people of New Orleans, thus the people of the entire state. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on a local station now. I truly, as someone who has been in rooms, as New Orleans goes, the rest of us follow, right? And you know, what I think is that the waters are going to calm, because I know the level of respect. When you look at Mayor Moreno, J.P. Morrell, Matt Willard, Jason Hughes, these people have not just served in the legislature, but they served with honor, and they have friends and relationships. And what unfortunately, I saw that the mayor pulled off, you know, going to the bond commission. Like when we get to that, in my opinion, we have gone too far, right? When we are going to starve an entire city because of some arrogance and some egos, we have gone too far. But, you know, I hope that in New Orleans, we don't have to say this about New Orleans, but I hope that next year, you know, folks take their frustration out at the ballot box, right, all across the state, because, you know, people like this, you know, things happen. People get elected by good folks that don't vote, right? So we have to take our anger and frustration, because I think the pendulum is going to shift and change, and look at how to use these same type of tactics when, you know, we Democrats get in power.
So,
and be unapologetic about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think something that needs to be addressed a little bit also is, what can citizens do besides vote? Because every time, you know, taking the frustrations to the ballot box comes up, inevitably, you know, we'll have listeners, and there will be other people who say, "Oh, I wish they would quit talking about voting," and because voting doesn't solve anything. We vote, and we keep getting people we can't trust in office. So in the meantime, in between time, as we like to say, what can citizens do to have some kind of impact? Because this morning, the point that I made is, now we're at the point where it's all just playing politics. I mean, everything is a political move, as opposed to a citizen-centered move. What can citizens do in the meantime?
You know, one of the things that the Black Caucus has, after every session, they embark on this tour, right?
Yes.
And it's not, for me, this is my frustration with Black folks. And I ran for mayor here, and I met with at least 1,000 different groups. Only 2 of those groups said to me, "Look, it's great. We want to hear your talking points, but here are our demands, right? Here are the list of things that we want." Right. And neither one of those groups were a majority Black group. Right.
Wow.
So we have to start having an ask and a demand. And that ask and demand is the same no matter it's a Republican, it's a Democrat, it's a Black person, it's a white person. Your church member that became your state rep, your church member that became your city council president, if they aren't going after the issues that you say you are demanding for your community, because Black people, we the only people that allow people to come to us and say, "This is what we're gonna do for y'all." Right? We have to start making the demand. And I've talked to Madam Chair. She and I have talked a lot since she became the chair about establishing like an agenda for the caucus, right? And that agenda doesn't just come from the caucus. That agenda comes from the people. So the participation has to be there. The input has to be there, not just when you're mad about something. Like, help them make the plan, right? Because when you elect folks, they're not saying, "Hey, we got all the ideas. Hey, we know everything." They're saying that we want to be the person that is your voice in this building. That's it. Like, they're not perfect. They're not all knowing, and they need help post-election day, right? I think that it's, you know, and I know it's hard to show up at council meetings, hard to show up at the Capitol. Being present there helps. Following on social media to be informed, because I think way too often we get our information from influencers and not people that are truly influential in the process. So where we get our information sometimes is flawed. We have to do a better job from the influencers. They have to be a better job of being more informed and not just opinionated. They need to be informed. We have to do a better job of showing our folks where to get the necessary, informed, and sometimes even unbiased information so that they can make informed choices there, right? And I get the frustration of saying, "Hey, you know, you keep telling us to vote, and then we vote for folks, and it's not the people that are voting, right?" So it's how do we connect with those folks that believe, you know what, I'm seeing all this stuff. We don't trust any of y'all. You're all full of shit. Like, so I'm not even voting at all, right? We have to find a way to tap
We are on the radio. We are on the radio. We're on the radio.
I'm surprised you went this.
I thought I could get away with it. I thought I could get away with it.
I'm surprised we went this long.
Yeah.
But adding what Ted said is
I'm sorry.
That with what he's saying with the education, what the Black Caucus has been doing, and since I've been in leadership, is we're connected with Power Coalition as well as Urban League to do town halls. And it's not just a legislative update, but it is an opportunity to give the residents, the community, information as to what the legislative process is, because people want to ask us, well, why aren't you doing anything? But it's like, okay, to that bill, we had to put in an amendment. But the amendment has to be accepted. It has to be voted on. So just because you didn't see it happen didn't mean we didn't try. So we want them to understand what the process is, and that is what we've been trying to do throughout. Well, that is the information we've been giving throughout the town halls. And also what the caucus is planning to do is we want to get more people involved and educated as to becoming candidates, and a good candidate, because people can say, oh, I want to run. Are you a good candidate? What makes you a good candidate is your ability to connect with people, whether you're that talker or just a doer, but also not being intimidated or afraid about the process. So we want to teach you the process. So when you go in to fill out your form to qualify for office, what does this mean? If I answer yes to this, what do I have to prove? What does it mean? So we want to try to go through that education as well. But also just working, and to repeat what Ted said, just educating folks, because the social media influencers, they could get out and they have more access. They have greater followers than most of us in the legislature have. But they explain bills all wrong. Or they explain the process all wrong. It's like, well, they did this. Yeah, but we couldn't do what you wanted us to do. Right. You know, the rules don't allow, or this is the process. If you read the Constitution, this is the process. So we want to be able to explain that to more people, and that's what we're doing in the town halls. So not just voting, but coming out in the meantime, in between time, to learn what's going on, so that on election day you feel better about going cast your vote.
Okay. We got.
And I also think, and I'll add this, and I got to jump off, and I hate that I got to jump off, but one of the things that I hear in the barbershop all the time, and Madam Chair said, the rules. What folks are saying is the other side, they don't care about the rules.
They don't.
So they want y'all to not care about the rules, right? And and that's what I kind of said earlier, like about being unapologetic. I think that Democrats, we are going to have to find ways to bend the rules without breaking our morality, right? And not being so like I text John Bell all the time. I was like, look, I can't stand what's going on in the fourth floor, but I sure wish you had flexed your muscle a little bit more, as opposed to, wanting to be the gentleman, and it's honest, right? And I think that, when you have folks that you represent, Madam Chair, that see what the other side are doing, but that's also because they have the numbers, and that get back to the voting piece. So,
right.
When you have the numbers, you can do a lot more. And I think that the attention and focus is going to have to be outside of places like New Orleans, because you guys are going to send Democrats, right? But we have parishes where we have performed at like a 40% with the right organization focus and anger. We can either elect Democrats or elect some Republicans that we can work with.
You're right. Moderates.
All right. We're going to go to the talk line. Thank you, Ted, for joining us.
Guys.
I know you got to go.
Thank
you,
Ted.
Lord's blessings. Have a great day. All right. We're going to talk line. We have Reverend Calhoun on the line. Good morning, sir. You're on Will Sutton, Eddie Francis. And
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Okay. Good morning, Reverend.
One or two things that I heard last night. 52% of the line item veto was targeted at New Orleans. what other area was targeted? Baton Rouge, Shreveport.
Yes.
Any of those
Yes.
districts were targeted?
Yes.
So to me, one of the things that needs to be brought out is that to the public is just how the power of Baton Rouge is being used against New Orleans. I think that the governor has been here, to my knowledge, 3 times to usurp revenue out of this city. The other piece that I heard last night, and I think that if you could speak to that, the strategy of now trying to make sure that all 64 parishes are involved in this coming together to talk about what's really going on. We all know that New Orleans is the cash cow, but there are some people that's so ignorant they'll cut their nose off to spite their face. And I see this is what Louisiana is happening in Louisiana right now. So given those 2 strategies, again, I like to just know when and how are we going to go to these other parishes or these other areas to make sure that they are aware of what's really going on in Baton Rouge. I'll hang up and listen.
All right. Lord's blessing, sir. Thank you for calling.
Well, on the Black Caucus Instagram page, we have a list of all of the town halls and the areas where we will be to give this information and to inform people as to just the attacks have been on the different areas. So if you go, again, the Legislative Black Caucus Instagram page has a calendar of the future town hall meetings.
Okay. Well, the conversation is apparently going to continue, and we will look for ways to mend and heal. But it's kind of hard for one party to mend and heal. So looking for ways that that can be possible. And Lord knows we know we have different philosophies and disagreements, but we got to be able to talk them through, and we got to look at the greater good as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we got some more news and information. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for the extended time too.
Yes.
Really love the conversation about Senator Selders, such a wonderful person and a doer.
Yes.
And got some things done. Thank you so much for coming. Lord's blessing.
Thanks for having us. Bless you too.
All right, we're going to the break. When we come back, more news and information right here on the Good Morning Show. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
It's off the top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
As America celebrates our 250th birthday, I continue to reflect not only on where we are, but how we got here. Like millions of Americans, I am deeply proud of this nation. Make no mistake about it, I am proud to be an African American, and I am equally proud to be an American. And those 2 identities are not in conflict. They strengthen one another. Yet I worry that the story being told about our nation's founding has become too narrow, a move by some to erase or whitewash our history. It sometimes suggests that the birth of American freedom belonged to only one people, one culture, or one experience. History tells us something far richer and far more diverse. From the earliest days of the struggle for independence, African Americans, indigenous people, and immigrants stood beside the colonists in the fight for liberty. Some fought as free men, others fought while still enslaved, believing that the ideals proclaimed in 1776 would one day include all of us. Historian Henry Louis Gates Jr. has documented the indispensable role of people of African descent played in the Revolutionary era.
Retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore has likewise reminded audiences that the Continental Army drew strength from people of many backgrounds. That truth should not make any American uncomfortable. It should make every American proud. Because the foundation of this republic was never built by one race alone. It was built by people of different colors, cultures, languages, and faiths who shared a common belief that freedom was worth fighting for. America's strength has never come from uniformity. It has come from people of different races, cultures, and faiths choosing to build one nation together. That is our history, that is our promise, and that is the America worth celebrating. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Hey, this is Steve Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
Step back in time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum, located in the heart of the Warehouse District in New Orleans. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling America's story in the war that changed everything, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. It's an experience. Plan your visit today at nationalww2museum.org. World War II Museum, where history lives.
Climate Hope NOLA presents this month's climate keyword, adaptation. Climate adaptation means preparing our communities for stronger storms, hotter days, flooding, and rising water. That means planting trees, restoring wetlands, protecting homes, and helping families recover stronger after disasters. In New Orleans, resilience is part of who we are and how we survive. Learn more, stay informed, and take action with Climate Hope NOLA. Visit Team Hope NOLA on Instagram to learn more.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, here with Eddie Francis. Just wrapped up a good conversation about State Senator Larry Selders, who we lost a few days ago. Number of people saw him at the Essence Festival of Culture this weekend, and then the Lord took him home. And we also talked about the drama between Governor Landry, Attorney General Liz Mero, and Mayor Moreno, City Council in the City of New Orleans. And it was good to get some insights from Ted James and Candace Newell. But as we promised, we have more news and information before we get out of here. And so I'm going to let Eddie take it from here.
Oh, all right. So the one thing I wanted to make sure that I point out before I get on out of here is that tomorrow, and it's funny, there was a comment about which HBCUs we're interviewing people from, but tomorrow there's an interview on my show, The Way Forward. The Way Forward, of course, is at 3:00. And a really interesting interview with Dr. Erin Lynch. And Dr. Lynch is a researcher who uses data to advocate for HBCUs. And so she does not, when she talks about her advocacy, is not vibes. She goes to sources, she goes to education sources, and she goes to federal sources. And whenever she talks about the value of HBCUs, she uses the data that's available to her to talk about why HBCUs have such a great place in the higher education marketplace in our communities. And so I'm looking forward to that interview with her tomorrow on The Way Forward to find out why her advocacy is there. One of the things I do want to point out, too, is if you've not gotten the opportunity to listen to the show, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, one of the things that I make sure that I do to open the show every single Saturday is I comb the internet, but then I also go to our local college and universities, especially our 3 HBCUs here in New Orleans, and I make it a point to find good news from all of those sources. And so I always open the show with a good news segment. And so tomorrow you can look forward to hearing some good news from Xavier, some good news from Suno, but then also there's some good news I'm going to share tomorrow from University of Holy Cross on the West Bank. My friend, the president over there, Dr. Stanton McNeely III, and then also some good news from Nicholls State University. But whenever I get the opportunity, I do everything I can to make sure I share some good news that's good local news, but then also some good news from Black folks that we can enjoy. So tomorrow, the way forward, 3 p.m. So with that being said, I'm going to be hanging out some more on the Good Morning Show. I just won't be doing it weekly going forward, but I will be hanging out. I'll be coming in, every other. I'll come in every so often to hang out. Brother has to handle some business, being a business owner. But one of the things that I want to make sure that I do is I want to urge people to continue to be as engaged as possible. As a matter of fact, I will say this, and I think this is very important because I just posted this in the Facebook comments. Ted James actually said a couple of things that stand out to me, and I think these are important points for us to remember because we talk about, I'm so glad I asked him about voting and how people push back against voting. Well, he said a couple of things that I want us to think about going forward. And that is the people make the demands. We don't wait for politicians to tell us what the demands are. The other thing is the agenda comes from the people. We should not wait for politicians to tell us what the agenda is. And then the third thing, and this is probably the most important thing, we're getting too much information from influencers and not from people who are truly influential. And the people who are truly influential are the people who are on the ground working, the people who are engaged, the people who are going to these meetings, the people who are writing their Congress people, whether it's state Congress people or federal Congress people. And so I think that is something for us to remember. But most definitely tomorrow morning, so tomorrow afternoon, the way forward, please join me 3 p.m. Thank you. Well, appreciate you, man.
All right. Well, certainly have enjoyed you here. And, of course, our friendship goes beyond the Good Morning Show. So we'll be in touch. And good luck on the other things that you'll be working on. And look forward to having you visit now and then. So
thank you.
Good to know it's not total cutoff. So it is 8:58 a.m. I'm Will Sutton here with Eddie Francis. Good show, good conversations today. We learned more about Larry Selders. We talked about the drama between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And we looked at what's happening with the mural and Morena thing overall. And of course, we had our visitors representing Hampton University. So the Hamptonians are in town this weekend for their regional conference, and looking forward to good things happening with that. I'll be over there a little bit later today. All right, that's going to do it for us. Lord willing, I'll wake up again tomorrow morning, and Lord willing, I'll get myself through the weekend and be back with you on Monday. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about.